And welcome back to the Desert Rats Racing League for Session 4, Race 2 at Montreal in the historic layout of 1988. Race 1 showed a lot from our new drivers, but will they be able to keep it up today? On pole position, we do in fact have Zingy still leading the pack. And right behind him is newcomer Chris, followed by John. And in fourth, we have Shift Darius, former runner-up for Season 0, Captain Ahab in fifth, Raccoon in sixth, Shift Finesse in 7th, Shift Rat Viper in 8th, and Get Me 240s from the Shift group in 9th. Let's go ahead and hop into our race today, and we'll hand it off to the broadcaster's box.
Fantastic to be staying in Canada. Another fantastic circuit. Drop the clutch. Go, go, go at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Zinging away beautifully. But it is a super narrow lead ahead of Chrisworth, who's hoping for a cleaner run here on lap 1 than he had in Mosport. That's contact already. Captain Ahab, that is a pinball effect. Captain Ahab making contact, I think, with several drivers. He's at the back of the grid. Let's go back and see exactly what went down as he goes towards the all-important left-right of turn 1. He brakes to the outside here of John, and then gets a tag from the back, and then, oh, it is an absolute melee. Raccoon picked up as the innocent party and all of that. The cars are still clanging and banging into one another through turn 2. They'll be hoping that a pace car shows up any moment. Let's have a look. It's a full retirement from Finesse, who goes, tries to do the smart thing here and stay out of the run, and then gets T-boned by, I think, the blue driver in the blue Mini momentarily there. Chrisworth, though, meanwhile, has got himself ahead of Poleman Zingy, unseen, but Chrisworth leading ahead, and Zingy demoted down into 2nd position as they head down Pont de la Concorde into turn 6 and 7. Zingy with a lot of catching up left to do. This track, of course, famously low grip. It's a fast point and squirt into some big stops as well. Lots of low speed cornering and high speed straights as they head down in towards turn 8 and 9. It's a difficult chicane. You can see it's a lot wider than the modern day version of the circuit, but it's heading down towards the hairpin, or so-called Lippingle, for the first time into turn 10, and Zingy sweeping the car nicely into the hairpin. All drivers, of course, using every inch of the available asphalt on the exit, and then it's a long drag down this straightaway just outside the boating lake to the driver's left. They won't care about that right now, and we head through the chicane at a frightening pace before heading in towards the final chicane, and of course the Wall of Champions that they'll be hoping not to make contact with. There is the Wall of Champions, and oh, there goes. Was that Darius in the background hopping right up into the air? I think we're going to see that again. A wall collision warning, and there's the retired car parked up. Wall collision warning for Darius. That was a little bit over the edge of acceptable level of contact, but Chrisworth leads by just 44 thousandths of a second. Sorry, 44 hundredths of a second, but it's very short-lived as he gets over the curb slightly too much. We've seen this before with the Minis. You need to use but not abuse those tall curbs, because they will certainly cause these stiffly sprung little Minis with the high centre of gravity. They'll cause them to tip quite violently, and of course, as the car slams back down, there's just not enough room on the bump stops of suspension to carry on with your normal racing line. Zingy then straight back into the lead, but Chrisworth is hot on his heels. So is John, and Darius chasing him down here despite making significant contact with the Wall of Champions. Maybe that's a good sign as Get Me 240s watches on and chases on. Raccoon not at the moment setting the world alight on his voyage out to Canada. He'll be hoping that this can be corrected very soon. Zingy just getting ahead on the way out of Lippingle as they run down the Boating Lake Straight and heading the Casino Straight technically as they head through the fast chicane. Plenty of opportunities still to get that slipstream, get the draft as they head down and in towards the final chicane facing that wall of champions once again. You've got to use those curbs, but there's no grip on the exit of the corner. Here is John then with a fantastic run out of the chicane. It's the start of lap 3 and John will have the inside line heading into turn 1, and he sweeps across the nose. That looked like possibly Darius getting into it a little bit there with Crisworth, but Crisworth certainly managing to stay ahead at this point, and they head in towards the chicane of turns 3 and 4. Deceptively slow chicane, that one, and then it's this low grip exit, fast and furious as they head back down then to the chicane, the left right of turn 6 and 7. It's John in that second position now, a whole second out to the leader of the race, Zingy, having a tremendous couple of sessions here with Desert Rats Racing League. But side by side go Crisworth and John, and Darius loose once again, and another major contact with the Armco barrier, and a final warning then. I mean, I'm not sure that receiving a warning, it's that little bit of dirt he caught on the wheels underneath the bridge, and then obviously trying to right the car. And this front wheel drive, very difficult once the back end has slipped away from you to wrestle control back. But Darius fast but loose at the moment, and heading down into Le Bingo hairpin corner. John right and hot on the heels of Crisworth. Get Me 240s is in 4th place. Raccoon up to 5th. Darius down to 6th, staying ahead surprisingly at this stage of Captain Ahab, who is not enjoying life at the moment in P7. Rat Viper in 8th, and of course our retiree Finesse showing on the tower in P9 at the moment, but obviously was not able to continue. How about that from Raccoon? Still hopping the car along on the way through the fast chicane on the back straight, the casino straight, and it's the start of lap 4. Darius into the wall. Now, will that trigger the stewards once again? He did make contact. That was after his final warning, but I think he got away with it. Look at the pitch of the car as he slams on the brakes, and the center of gravity shifts towards the front axle, scrapes the splitter, heads out onto the grass. Darius looking a little bit desperate out there on this particular day. Car number 60, Crisworth, just opening a little bit of daylight between himself and John. Zingy hanging on to the lead at the moment, and still the fastest driver on the track, a 1:47.2. His lead now 1.4 seconds as they head towards the halfway point of our race. And then you've got just in the background here for P4, Get Me 240s, Raccoon has the sort of dramatic driver Darius hard on and hot on his heels, and once again you see Raccoon just getting the stiffly sprung Mini airborne. Darius slips on through, and he's straight on focus to the British Racing Green, British flag roofed Get Me 240s, who's running a high of 4th at this stage. Crisworth in 2nd. Good gap now to John, and his focus very much forwards on the potential win. Here is Get Me 240s with Darius chasing him down. Darius with a very bent and battered Mini Cooper in the blue, and we almost get run over by the camera there, and smashing into the wall again from Darius. And what is happening now? We've got a grid penalty, loss of control, back into the wall again for Darius. That is now a confirmed grid penalty. He was certainly riding his luck there, the 000 car with the Huiskenveld sponsorship on the roof, but unfortunately he's not quite able to get the braking performance out of his pedals that he was hoping for. But yeah, certainly getting the car pitched very well in towards turn 2. But yeah, it's now going to suffer a grid penalty. Captain Ahab chasing down Raccoon there in the background of this battle. They are side by side, great rivals these two, and it looks like Captain Ahab will have the slight advantage having the right hand of the circuit, on a clockwise circuit. That's going to help him. Here are the current standings. Raccoon ahead of Finesse, and Darius and John tied on points at the moment. John, though, is going to take a step forward there and an advantage into the next race over Darius for third place, so probably consolidating that third place. Looks like Gemi240's braking very hard on the inside, might suffer on the way out. And Raccoon, season 0 champion, and he does drive a 2014 Mini Cooper S, so he should be good in these cars, quite frankly, although I'm sure the road going version is somewhat more forgiving in its setup for Raccoon, and he's not driving it at anything like these speeds, or not at least on speed limited roads. We've got Gemi240s in P4 heading through the Casino straight and chicane now. There is Darius. It's lap 6. Something flying up off the road surface. It's a part. It's the hood. It's the hood of Darius back against the wall once again. A second final warning. So the final warning for Darius. This is going to be another penalty, but he doesn't know that in the moment, of course. Very late on the brakes, losing a little bit of aero performance. I would have thought he'd be having a great deal more drag with the engine head fully exposed at this stage. Side by side, gives a little kiss to Gemi240s in so doing, but clearly very much in a hurry at the moment. Here is on board with Gemi240s as he looks down in towards the tricky turn 6 and 7, slowest chicane on the circuit anyway. And trying to get that power down once again. We've seen Darius go wrong through the Wall of Champions at least twice. We've seen him go wrong on the approach to the next corner. He's certainly pushing as hard as anyone on the circuit at the moment. The number 20, and there goes Captain Ahab very late on the brakes and running out of room, and Raccoon doing exactly the same thing directly behind him, but to a greater extent. What's happening here? As all 4 drivers apparently going long. What's happening? Well, we've got the replay with Darius. He avoids the wall this time. Raccoon went wide, but just to show all 4 cars running very deep onto the brakes. It's lap 6 of the 9. They head into Le Bingo. Will we get some contact? Not quite. Gemi240s will say that's exactly what he played for, but there was a little bit too tight for comfort, and then he hits the wall on the way out of Le Pingle and onto the Casino straight. This is the Wall of Champions. Your battle at the lead of the race is 1.2 seconds between Zingy and Chris Worth, as Darius in that 4th place holds on for now, but this is the danger zone for Darius. Can he make it through? He just about holds on and stays on the asphalt this time. Of course, as soon as you get 1 inch of grass, you've lost ideal traction, and you're heading towards that wall. His fender is hanging. It's dragging on the track, but Darius is determined to finish this race, come what may, whatever condition his Mini is in, and if it's just good for scrap value by the end of the race. Through we go, turns 3 and 4. This is Gemi240s, certainly suffering a little bit in terms of outright speed, but has a lot more consistency so far in the race. Surely Darius's tyres will fade before the end of this race around the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, Canada. Missing quite a bit of the modern day scenery and expo backdrop. I wonder if that's an easy cop-out for AMS to reduce the frame rate droppage if they're doing it that way. But all the same, the circuit remains the same, and the drivers don't care about the scenery. Here comes Chris Worth. He's got that gap to under a second. He's biding his time, and it's 2 hot laps at the end of the race is the plan, I think, here, to really put the pressure on Zingy that he didn't suffer in motorsport. So Chris Worth now, who hasn't had the same setbacks he suffered in the previous Canadian round. Well, that was about ideal. I thought it was on the edge, but it was about an ideal run through the Wall of Champions. Here is John doing the same thing. Just lift the wheels slightly as they start the penultimate lap. You can see the detritus and dust and dirt down there. Zingy debut in Desert Rats, has led every lap so far. Does that make him your driver of the day? We'll see if he can finish it off in the style in which he has begun. But now the front fender completely missing. The front radiator, well, the only radiator fully exposed on Darius's car. But these guys are 16 plus seconds away from the lead of the race, which is now down to 0.8 of a second. Only John on his own, 9 seconds away. Pretty certain of being third place position today. Captain Ahab is now catching Darius and Get Me 240s for that fourth position. Raccoon not far away, and Rat Viper still working the wheel and doing his absolute best here down in P8. Remember that we lost Finesse, sadly, earlier on. Well, it is Zingy leading by 0.7 of a second. Get Me 240s is even closer, just 0.3 of a second. And going long and deep on the brakes. It's the old Verstappen braking trick. Unfortunately, he couldn't hold on, and now he hits the wall after contact with Darius. Running a driver off track. A second grid penalty given to Darius post-race as Captain Ahab tries to stake a claim here for P4. Darius, wow, that is a huge drift. He'll be so grateful there's a big runoff on the exit of Le Bingle, and running through then, careful of that barrier on the inside, is Captain Ahab, and starting the final lap of the race, Zingy leading by nearly 0.9 of a second. Now that was a hot lap for him. Retired driver Darius, he's now got 2 total grid penalties applied after the race, so a day to forget for him, but one to remember for the lessons learned perhaps. Captain Ahab, P4 now in fact, as Get Me 240s is in that 5th place. Darius slipping down after getting the car into the garage, and it's not particularly straight in the garage either. This is Darius and his retirement, just showing sort of the lowlights of Darius's race for a moment. But now Chrisworth dials up the pressure. They run through turns 3 and 4, sorry, turns 6 and 7 now, and this final lap is really hotting up. Just half a second separating these two. Zingy really feeling the pressure here. What can Chrisworth do? What kind of a window can he find? Is there a chink in the armour of Zingy as they go down towards Le Bingle? A really good opportunity here to make the overtake or to get a slipstream coming out of the corner. He goes slightly wider. That gives him the impetus, the ability to put the power down slightly earlier for Chrisworth than normal. And 0.4 of a second, it's dropping, but is it dropping by enough? Heading down towards the casino chicane they go. High speed section of track. It looks like Chrisworth is too far away. It looks like Zingy might be able to make it a double victory. Since he started here with us at Desert Rats Racing League through the Wall of Champions. That was the only drama left to go, and Zingy crosses the line to win in Montreal. What a great performance, and this time he was pushed much further by Chrisworth in second place. John crosses the line and claims third with Captain Ahab out there. And here, back to the studio.
And that brings us with 40s in 5th place, followed by Raccoon, Rat Viper, and Darius and Finesse did not finish the race. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you for joining us in the Desert Rats Racing League.